Hey guys, welcome back on Four Towers Films.
And I'm Doug 218. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. How's it going with you?
It is going fantastic.
Very good. Well, we are back and recapping MasterChef Legends, Season 18, Episode number 7.
And tonight's guest judge was
Nancy Silverton.
Nancy Silverton. Actually, it's someone that Joe knows very well. He considers her like family. So she's like the, how did Gordon refer to her? As the queen of pasta?
Yeah.
So Nancy comes out and they...
Well, because remember last week they kind of said that the next guest judge like family to Joe. So I guess they probably known each other a long time. So
seems like it.
I think they work together or something.
They co-own a restaurant in Los Angeles called Matza.
Right.
So it's a fresh pasta challenge with a master class of pasta making done by Joe and Nancy. And Joe's like, I'm going to show you guys how to make a pasta dish with 3 ingredients.
Right.
Very simple. And they did make it look very simple.
Years and years.
Years of experience, of course. So what you find out is that the challenge is to make...
What she I forget what kind of pasta she made.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the name, but it was like almost like a shell pasta.
Right.
And to catch and it was Alejandro that actually said that so it can take more of the sauce.
Right.
You know,
yeah, and she did, like they said, you can use how she mixed it, like the egg and the flour and all that. So you probably have seen it if you watch anything on Food Network. They tend to make almost like a well, and then they put the wet ingredients inside, and then they keep incorporating it. So that's how she did it. As Joe said, of course, you can use a mixer for that, but she prefers actually doing it this way.
Well, because then she can kind of gauge how it's coming.
Yeah, you can control it a little bit better.
Yeah.
And like she said, like they asked her, which is a good question, when to know when to stop kind of kneading it. And she goes, you need it a lot, actually.
Because you have to, it makes it more elastic, and you have to keep it working. And that's something I think a lot of them will learn the more that they would actually do something like this. Because
like they more or less said you kind of can tell when it's ready.
Ready to go, yeah.
You know, but she said it takes actually a lot of to get it really to where you need it to be.
Yeah, exactly. So they have 1 hour to make a pasta dish. And the winner gets a VIP dinner for 2 at the restaurant that both Nancy and Joe own. Matza. So, you know, Gordon says your 60 minutes starts. Nancy's like, now. They take off running. So the first one we kind of hear from is Miles. Now, Miles is making a beef and pork ragu with fettuccine pesto with sauteed tomatoes and toasted pine nuts. Okay, kind of sounds good. The ragu, you know, I was like, okay, that looks rich. It looks meaty. Never had fettuccine pesto.
No, I know there is fettuccine pesto. I haven't had it, but
no, me nor myself. Now,
he actually had a little bit of trouble with this pesto.
He was not in nothing but trouble through most of this episode. Sue is making a lamb ragu with pappardelle. And she's like, I don't normally know how to make Italian pasta, but I do know how to make egg noodles.
Right. A little different.
But you know, in certain aspects, I guess the process is the same.
Similar, I guess.
So we get a glimpse of Gordon and Aaron going through the kitchen, talking to people, and they actually get to Autumn, and Autumn is making a beet and ricotta tortellini. And she's like, it's something I want to try, a little different. And they really like the idea, like kind of step outside the box kind of thing. Joe and Nancy get around, and it's what they end up with Miles. And that he's explaining the dish he's making, and both of them are kind of looking at each other like. And then Nancy's like, that's a whole lot of pine nuts you got in that frying pan.
And they've actually been burnt.
They were black. He not only burnt them once, he burnt them twice.
Yeah, and so Gordon wasn't too happy with him. But like he said at one point, this is MasterChef, not MasterChef Juniors. And like he said, he had to throw them out because
he didn't want to eat. He couldn't use them.
They would become bitter, and it would actually ruin his pesto.
And so it was like a big saucepan, about 2 inches deep, of pine nuts.
Yeah, it was quite a lot. Like you said, they even said it was too much, too many.
And like they both told him, keep it simple. Yeah. Edit yourself. Don't have all this fluff and whatever, And that's something he's had to deal with, and he's been reminded a lot.
Yeah.
Self-edit, 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 self-edit.
Right.
And that seems to be a theme through this show that they try and push a lot.
Especially certain contestants, definitely, yeah.
So then they get to Joe and Nancy end up talking with Kelsey. She's making a fettuccine with a lobster, pea, and she said a little tarragon. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, okay, when you're cooking the lobster, this is how you do it. Put it down into the brown. It was like a brown butter sauce, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so it can really get the juices and really get imparted with that flavor. So then the cameraman jumps to Gordon and Aaron again. They're talking with Michael now. Michael is doing a gnocchi with lobster and crispy pancetta with green peas and a brown butter sauce. A lot of peas in this episode.
A lot of people like their peas.
A lot of people like the peas, man.
For some reason, especially with pasta. Not so much of pea and pasta kind of person.
Okay, you hear all like tagliatelle, gnocchi,
Yeah, a lot of them are very similar.
And then Joe and Nancy come around, and it's like they come to Lexi. Lexi's got one little ramekin, like one little dish. They're asking her, what are you making? Lasagna. And the two of them were like, in an hour? And she's like, yeah. And Joe's like, she's telling this story about having a big family and not having much money.
She's said this story before.
She said this before. Yeah. I'm beginning to think it's just to build up her rap kind of thing and blah, blah.
I mean, if you've ever made pasta or lasagna, it takes a long time to make. So that's why they're a little bit dubious whether she can do it in an hour.
And, it's like, okay, they're like, fine. So then we get to Alejandro, another one that needs to self-edit. Lovely man. Yeah. He's got a lovely, coming to America kind of story. But he's making a tagliatelle pomodoro with grilled octopus. Gordon's like, say what? There's many things that go in pasta.
Well, he said usually not octopus.
Usually not octopus.
Like I think Joe even said that. He goes, "There's a few things you think of when it that go on this particular dish," and he goes, "Octopus is not one of them."
No, my friend. So it's like,
yeah, I agree with you there, Joe.
So the cameras pull back. The judges are watching from the podium. At the 30-minute mark, Miles tastes his pesto, and you hear,
bitter.
It's bitter. And the judges see this and they like, oh no, he's got to start over. So he goes tearing up back to the pantry, top speed. And he starts making this pesto over again.
Yeah.
Then, well, you know, we get a glimpse of Joseph. He's making tagliatelle pasta with lamb meat sauce. A lot of similar pasta.
Very similar, yeah.
You know. Then we hear from Tay. Tay is making a crab ravioli with a seafood sauce and blackened shrimp. Yay! Ravioli is something different than
besides lasagna.
And then we jump back to Joe with Nancy. They're talking to Anne. Now, remember, last week, Anne was in the bottom 3. So she's like, I really gotta come back this time. Yeah. So Anne is making a pappardelle pasta with a cream sauce, asparagus, and peas. Okay.
There's a running theme here.
The pasta and the veg. Same. It's kind of.
Peas.
Then Gordon and Aaron get to Abe. Now Abe won last week, so Abe is doing ravioli with a pea, goat cheese, and porchetta filling.
Not peas.
That's going to be a well-stuffed pasta, and with brown butter and crispy sage and toasted pine nuts. There's the pine nuts again, and they really liked the idea. They thought it was a really inventive thought. They're like, we just keep an eye on it, make sure everything's going okay. You know, I can't wait to taste it. Then the time is up, and the walkthroughs really happen. You know, as they're doing the last kind of look arounds. So they go back to the front. They say, okay, we'd like to take a look at
top 3.
Top 3. Now, the first one to get called is Anne. Anne's ecstatic.
That makes you shocked.
Hey, I'd be shocked
like,
too.
What?
So, what her complete dish was pappardelle with peas, asparagus, and cream sauce. Gordon says the dish is cooked beautifully. Nancy liked the simplicity, and Aaron liked the difference in textures. Joe is like, take a couple of things off. You know, it's kind of like too busy, and Gordon and Nancy are kind of looking at each other like, what?
Nancy said to Gordon, maybe you should stick to winemaking. Well, Joseph, you know, Joe is always gonna.
He's got to say something.
He's gonna critique something. So
okay. Then the next one that gets called up is Autumn. She did a lemon ricotta and beet tortellini with white wine and leek sauce, beets and pea tendrils. And their comments were, all 4 of them, they told her emphatically they loved it. It was the sauce was light, right consistency. The pasta was cooked beautifully. And so it's like, she's like, you know, this was my grandma's recipe, and it's a nice tribute to her because we lost her recently before I came.
Yeah. Right.
So, third one getting called up is Kelsey. I'm seeing a running theme.
Yeah, it's for the 3rd time she's been in the top 3.
So she might be the one to watch, friends.
Definitely.
So
far, anyway.
She makes a tagliatelle pasta with lobster, peas, and a tarragon sauce. Joe says the lobster's seasoned really well. Nancy says, you know, it's you took the diner in consideration on like the mouthful that they would be consuming by cutting the lobster up.
Yeah, Nancy liked that.
They said, Nancy said both were done well. Like the pasta, the lobster, both were cooked fantastic. And Gordon gave her the best comment ever. He says, this is like a top 5 dish, and we haven't even hit the top 10.
Well, I think he said something he would serve in his restaurant, too.
Yeah, this is a dish he said. Exactly.
That's high praise, really.
And Gordon says, hold on, we're not finished yet. There's one more dish that we'd like to see. And it was Nancy herself that wanted to see this.
Right.
And surprise, it's Lexi.
The lasagna.
The lasagna lady. So she is smiling from ear to ear. Yeah. She did a lasagna with Italian sausage and ricotta. All the judges loved it. They appreciated the rustic simplicity of it. Yeah. Nancy's like, see these crispy bits? That's what caught my eye. She goes, here, Gordon, try this. You know? And so...
Actually, the corners are the best parts of the lasagna. They are.
Anyone...
The crispiness really adds to it.
Exactly.
I think.
Anyone worth their salt knows the crispy bits are the best.
Crispy bits are the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the judges saying now we need to discuss, and they step back behind the
like the barrier
thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, throat's dry. And the winner is. Are you ready? Autumn. So good for you, Autumn. She wins the dinner for 2 at Matza.
She was actually shocked.
Yeah, she kind of did that. And so all 4 ladies are safe.
Yeah. And they go up to the gallery.
And now we went,
bottom 3.
Yeah, we went from the penthouse. Now we're going to the ground floor. Yep. So the bottom 3, first one brought up, Miles. Miles did a beef and pork ragu with pesto fettuccine. Right across the board, they all called it a monumental fail. It's like, didn't make sense. None of this makes sense.
Well, it's like they said, it almost looked like 2 dishes on one plate. Like the ragu, they said might be okay on its own, but doesn't really fit the pesto fettuccine. And like it just seemed that there was almost too much going on too.
Okay, so
plus, I don't think they really like the flavor all that much either.
Well, she said, it's a diner wouldn't eat this. Nancy said it's like it's because you eat with your eyes and it's not looking appealing.
No.
So no one's gonna want to eat it. Okay.
Not unless you're starving, then you don't care what it looks like.
Good point.
It's true.
Good point.
But at like a fine dining, I mean, I'll be like,
I'm paying $50, $60 for dinner. I ain't eating that. No. Yeah. Okay, so the next one that got called up is Alejandro. He did a Tagliatelle Pomodoro with grilled octopus. They said, okay, first off, your pasta was too thin for this dish. Yeah. And Joe, with his classic mean comments, he said, this dish is basically pasta that you have kept in the fridge for 3 days, then reheated it and served it.
Yeah. No, I for one don't like reheated pasta.
And it's
better fresh.
Of course, but what a thing to say to somebody,
yeah. Well, he's not known for being nice when he talks.
No.
When he doesn't like something,
And so the last one to get called up was Michael. He did a gnocchi with a poached lobster, crispy pancetta, peas, and a butter sauce. Now Gordon said, okay, I appreciate that you did gnocchi, but here's the thing. The pasta's not cooked right. It's usually done in a pan.
Yeah.
It fluffs up. Then you finish it off with the sauce. It's supposed to be tender. He goes, this is like rock hard. It's undercooked. Nancy says it's basically one note. There's nothing to like distinguish anything from each other. And like said, maybe some lemon zest, would have really taken it up the next level.
Yeah.
So he steps back. They say, listen, we got to talk. And after some consideration, it is Miles that goes home.
It's not really that surprising, just if you actually listen to what they said.
Exactly.
You kind of pretty much knew it would be Miles.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just the comments were probably the worst with him.
And Gordon really hates waste on food, and to literally hold up 2 fry pans full of burnt pine nuts.
Yeah, he was livid.
He was not happy.
Especially that many.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot in both. I mean, the one was completely black, and the other one there was, was almost bad. But I mean, it's a lot that he couldn't use. So
we saw towards the end of the episode, as the credits were rolling, the new MasterChef legend that's coming in is Jonathan Waxman, and it's mystery box number 2. So what did you think of the episode?
They tend to do a pasta dish typically every year, like a pasta challenge. Yeah. Now, pasta you would think would be an easier dish to do, but it doesn't tend to be because it is a easier or more simple type thing. But the simplest things can actually be some of the hardest to make.
And that even Gordon said that it's the simplest things can be the most difficult to execute properly. And so, it
was interesting. I think he kind of had an idea of who would probably be on the bottom, just when they were going around, Miles was having a problem almost from the get-go, pesto, and then burning the pine nuts and stuff, and then just the beef and pork ragu. It's just a weird combo itself. They don't always really go together. It's just such different kind of flavors.
That's true.
And and then with pesto, fettuccine, it's doesn't really match each other very well. I think a ragu is better suited to maybe a meat sauce rather than a pesto sauce. So
exactly.
So I think that was kind of a misfire. So I kind of figured he'd be in the bottom.
Yeah.
Same with Alejandro. I think the ones in the bottom were
supposed to be where they were supposed to be.
Bottom, so they were the right ones.
Yeah.
I kind of almost thought it would actually have been Lexi who won. Not to say that Autumn didn't deserve it, but just judging by what they were saying, and of course he hasn't said it, but to me it almost leaned more toward Lexi than Autumn, and then to was kind of okay, Autumn, all right, but the 4 ladies did a very good job.
Yeah, and they might, Kelsey might be the one to kind of keep an eye on.
Considering she's been up there 3 times now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's very good.
It was a good episode.
Yeah.
You can really see the skill in some of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you can see some of them have really come to compete.
Well, and I think some people are in their heads too much. I think that might have happened to Miles.
Yeah.
It's not that he didn't necessarily have skills. It's
he overthought
it and got into his head too much. So I think that's really what went wrong with him today on Wednesday. So
but all in all, I enjoyed the episode, and I'm looking forward to seeing the mystery box, the second mystery box challenge.
Mystery box challenge next week. This coming week. But anyway. Well, that is all for today. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, no problem.
And thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell, no matter where it is on your device.
You know where it is.
So you know when we go live every Sunday and talking about MasterChef Legends season number 18. Thank you, and we'll see you next week. And we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.
Have a safe week, guys.
Bye.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.